So we constantly are talking about the obesity problem, about people with diabetes, governments worry about it, politicians, policymakers, everyone's talking about it. And it's costing the government and our taxpayers, so that's us, a phenomenal amount of money, But even though that's the case, we still tend to blame the individual for weight and illness rather than accepting that perhaps there are some really broken things about the way we live our lives and the way that society is organized that is part of the problem, and maybe it's the big problem. And I saw a brilliant example of this the other day. Now, I was in a petrol station, and when you go to a petrol station, the one thing is you're confronted with a massive amount of chocolate. And it turned out that day that, not unreasonably, I fancied some Maltesers. So I looked at a packet of Maltesers, and I discovered that these were $3.60. Now, I think this is 60 grams of Maltesers. Now, I'm about to pay for them. And out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that actually, rather than 60 grams, I could get this packet, not for $3.60, but this was $5. And this is 140 grams. So that's twice as much, but it's not a lot. It's not twice the amount of money. I looked again and I found that, in fact, there's a giant packet. So this is now 250 grams. So that's 4 times this box amount of chocolate. Apparently this is more to share. But this was only $5.50. So we went from $3.60 to $5 to $5.50. Now, the economics of a family would say, buy this. We're all after value, we would buy this. But from a government perspective, from a society perspective, we need people to buy this. It's not about saying you can't have chocolate anymore. It's about saying you need to eat less. And I don't understand how we're in a position where policymakers are not ruling on this and making judgments about how to deal with this. Because I can tell you, if you are an individual, you are faced with companies that employ thousands of people and spend millions upon millions of dollars developing strategies to get you to buy not this, but this. And this idea of what we call non-linear pricing, in other words, the price of an object should go up, and the more you get, the more you pay. But when it comes to food, non-linear pricing, 20% free, buy a bigger bar, is what's killing us and destroying our population and costing us billions. And it's something we can legislate for, and we need to.